Hey everyone, this is Scotty, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about let and const, two binding keywords that are provided to us in JavaScript that allow us to use named variables and assign those named variables values. Essentially, we're just connecting a named variable or an identifier to a value so that we can reuse that identifier within our program again and again. So on the screen, we have const username equals Tony. Tony, if you recall from the last video, is a string that's a primitive data type, and we are assigning that value into username. I also want to recap and re-mention that const is a binding keyword, and this makes the variable immutable. This means that the variable cannot change during the runtime of our program. Now inside this file, I'm simply just console.logging username. I'm printing it to the screen. And I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick, node index. And we can see that Tony is printed to the screen. Now, in order to show the error that comes when you try to reassign a variable, I'm just going to do some quick live coding. And I'm going to go ahead and reassign username the value of Jennifer, another string. I'm going to run node index. And we can see that the Node.js runtime has actually thrown us an error. This up here is simply just identifying where the error came from. It's saying an assignment operator was the error. And down here, we can see a little bit more of the description. This is a type error, assignment to constant variable. So this is telling us that we have used const on this username, and therefore we cannot reassign the value. So consts are very helpful in a sense of development security. When you're working with variables that can't be changed or that you don't want to be changed, you can use const as the keyword binding. Now, it should be noted that when you're working with variables, you default to const, but if you know that a variable needs or should be changed, we're going to use let. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into this example.js JavaScript file. And on the screen, we have roughly 10 lines of code. We have a const username, and then on line 3, we have let. So let is another binding keyword, and let essentially just tells the program that we can reassign a new value into score. Now, score is our named variable. Score is being assigned 22. 22 has a data type of a number. And this is useful for if you want to keep track of someone's score inside of a game. On line 5, I have a console log that is being printed to the screen. This console log just demonstrates how we are going to increment and see what happens in the program when the increment happens. On line 7, we're actually running the process of doing a little addition. We're incrementing score by 1 with this plus operator. And what we should see is that score is being assigned a new value of 23. Score is 22. 22 plus 1 is 23. We're going to go ahead and console.log and print Alex, and then we're going to print his new score, which should be 23. So I'm going to go ahead and run node examples. And we can see that we have 22, Alex, and 23. So this is telling us that our program is doing what we're asking it to. It's listening to our instructions. It's taking 22 plus 1 to equal 23. Now, the main point of this video is that if you are using a variable that cannot be changed, you want to make sure that you use the binding keyword of const. And if you're using a variable that can be changed or that we want to be changed, you use the keyword binding let. Thanks for listening, friends. Keep learning, keep building.